Hey, a road of that right there. Beautiful field. Alright, we're going to do a review on last night's featured presentation, Slumber Party Massacre 1980, Slumber Party Massacre II, 1987. Note the lack of the article. No the, okay? So if you type the and you're playing trivia, you're not going to get it. Not going to get the point. The original from 1982, the first one, was called The Slumber Party Massacre. And then the sequel does not have a the. Alright, Slumber Party Massacre 2, and then Slumber Party Massacre 3 also does not have an article. Alright, boys, so this is one that the Slumber Party Massacre 1982 was the first movie I ever checked out of the video store, along with April Fool's Day, double feature that night years ago, about 15 years ago. Fell in love with both films. They at one time had the sequels 2 and 3, but I never had any desire to rent them or watch them online, mainly because of the movie poster, the cover of the VHS screamed just that bad, like, horror comedy with the villain with a guitar. So I just never even took a chance on it until last night, mainly because of the Roger Corman passing, and he co-produced this film. By 1987, most horror films had kind of gone into the whole way of being cheeky, having too much humor. It's generally why I avoid horror films from the late 80s. In fact, you saw this as early as like 1984, the film Return of the Living Dead, with some humor, but that's one example where it works. Okay, so how did the Slumber Party Massacre 2 go? Alright, so it's co-produced by Roger Corman, rest in peace, and Don Daniel. Talk about him later. This is on New Concord. Is the production company. It was founded by Roger Corman, New Concord. It was written and directed by Deborah Brock, who didn't do much. She also directed Rock and Roll High School Forever and Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, Rick Moranis. Alright, so this film follows Courtney. If you remember from the first film, you had a couple of the surviving girls were Valerie, the tall, older, maybe 17, 18-year-old, voluptuous, but pure, is implied she was, real behaved well, girl, Valerie, and her little sister was played by Courtney. Sorry, her name was Courtney. I forget the actress's name. But they both survived the events. Okay. According to IMDb, somebody who added something to the goops, they said that in Slumber Party Massacre 2, she mentions, the Courtney in this film mentions that she was 12 in the original, but somewhere in the original it's mentioned that she's 15. I don't remember that at all. I'll have to pay attention next time I watch it. I'll have to pay attention to that. I always thought she was like middle school age, but now she's roughly the same age as her sister was in the first film, maybe 17, 18. And so this film, the train tracks, Jordo. This film follows Courtney. Her sister is now in it. Courtney lives with her mother. We don't see a dad at all, but Courtney lives Courtney lives with her mother. Her sister Valerie is now with This little church up down the road, guy's good. Lives with, is in a like mental institution because of her, because of what happened with the killings. Courtney lives at home, but she suffers from, she has like these nightmares about the events. Now she dreams about this boy that she has a big crush on at school, but she also, but then she starts having these like visions and dreams about the events of that night when she was younger with the killings. But, and it's kind of cool because you do get to see some flashbacks to, they show actual footage from that film, Slumber Party Massacre, which is kind of cool. They show some of that at the beginning, and then that's about all you get. Courtney is played by Crystal Bernard. You might know her from Wings, the hit TV show Wings, with Steven Weber, and then I can't think of the other guy's name. He has like a hyphenated last name, I think, but kind of the goofy guy from that show, and he was in Sideways with Paul Giamatti. Anyone know that guy's name? So it's Crystal Bernard plays Courtney. She doesn't look anything like Courtney, the original Courtney. But the sister, there is a Valerie in this film. She appears in like dream sequences telling Courtney things. Looks like she's in the mental institution in a bed, but I give her credit, she does look like the actress who played Valerie in the first film. By the way, the actress who played Valerie in the first film was, I think, pretty much out of acting at this point. And then, sadly, she eventually committed suicide in, I think, 1996. Courtney is in a like 4-piece girl band, rock band, garage band kind of classmates, and the other 3 girls in it are played by Kimberly MacArthur, who wasn't in much. She was in Easy Money with Rodney Dangerfield, 1983. She was in the 1982 comedy Young Doctors in Love. We were talking about that last night. Michael Richards is in it, and she was 1982 Playboy Playmate of the Year. You can see why from the pool scene. She fills out a bikini nicely. The other 2 girls are played by a couple of Friday the 13th alumni. I was talking to Dewey about this last night. Juliet Cummins, the redhead from Part 5, and who lives in the nut house. She shows a little breast in that movie and then gets killed. And in this movie, she like strips off her top unnecessarily, which she's drunk. Unnecessarily, but welcomed. Alright, so you have her, and then you have another Friday the 13th alumni, Heidi Kozak, who is on the drums in the band. Looks really good in the Daisy Dukes in this film. She's a forgettable character from Part 7, Friday the 13th. And she, more importantly, is on the cover of Splatter University VHS. She's on the cover of that, even though she's not in the film, strangely enough. Alright. So you have those 2. So those are the 4 people in the girls in the band, and the ones they go with they take a little train, Jordo, train. So they take a little weekend getaway to one of the girls' parents' like home up in the mountains or something. It doesn't really look like the mountains, it looks some kind of suburban place, but anyway, they go up there, and there's really no adult presence up there. Courtney lies to her mother about that, by the way. And then the other actors in this include, not many, Michael Delano and Hamilton Mitchell are the cops, the 2 cops that come in, the cliche, unhelpful cops who are like, hey, you kids are just doing drugs, nothing's going on here. And they leave, but the two officer names are Officer Kruger and Officer Voorhees, which is pretty cool. Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th were going very strong in 1987. 1987 was Nightmare Part 3, a great sequel, and then it was right after Jason Lives, 1986. So kind of cool to have that. Jordo! Train! There it is, Jordo. Alright, only got 15 days left of this channel. Jordo's going to shut it down. He's called the authorities. Maybe he's called Officer Voorhees and Officer Kruger. Get on that, Jordo! And then the other ones are Don Daniel, who co-produced it. I'll get to Don Daniel later. He has a tiny role in this. The beginning of this film, it started out promising to me. I was like, this is going to be better than I thought. You have a lot of callbacks during the beginning and really throughout the movie to the first film. So you have Courtney sees a dead dove on the sidewalk. She's staring at it. That reminds you of the first one, where one of the last girls, I forget her name, sees a doll with a bitten off head or something. Maybe she doesn't see it, but they show it. The atmosphere and the setting is very much like the first film. It looks like it's filmed the same place, the same like California neighborhood. It's kind of cloudy. Looks like the same kind of houses, which I really like that going on. It's a little glitzier. The obviously by 87 you didn't have I hear a train. By 87 you did not have the grainy footage on these movies. Patrick Lowe is in this. He's the love interest of Crystal Bernard. So he is in this, and I looked this guy up because I thought he was related to Rob Lowe. He looks similar to him. He's the same age. Rob Lowe has 3 brothers, Chad Lowe, and he has 2 half-brothers. None of them are Patrick Lowe. Maybe it's his cousin. Couldn't find anything on that either. So the atmosphere is very similar at the beginning. There's nice there's 2 of the girls it's Heidi Kozak and Crystal Bernard are in a car. They're singing this song called like I Want to Be Your Tokyo Convertible. Is that a real song? Because it sounds like it could be a real song. If not, it's a pretty decent tune for a made-up song. The girl band I hate. I don't like the fact that they were trying to like capitalize on the whole like popularity of the Go-Go's at this time, and that's what it looks like they're doing. The Bangles look more like they were doing the Bangles, and it was just crap. Actually, the music was too good to be a garage band. It looked too polished and too professional, so I didn't like that. Too much of that going on. I like the product placement in this. You have Slice, Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, a lot of Pepsi products in this film. I like that's similar to the product placement in the first film. Remember Slice? It was the Sprite. It was Pepsi's version of Sprite. I didn't realize it went all the way back to the 80s though. A lot of good food shots, the breakfast food. You have the dinner scene, a short dinner scene. Dinty Moore looking food, looks kind of gross. There's a Piccadilly, I swear, in a strip mall, which is really cool. Piccadilly cafeteria, you guys know that? Donnie. Oh yeah, the cops say when they're about to leave, hey, all right, Denny's is still holding our booth. So it's a Denny's reference. These are killer. Oh yeah, these are killer corn dogs. They say the girls are eating corn dogs the night while drinking, which is kind of cool. Like, that reminds me of the first film where the girls order the pizza and they're eating like little snacks and stuff. Hey, looky here. We just caught the train, so that's kind of, I like that part. There's also a reference to they're watching Rock and Roll High School on the TV at one point. There's a quick clip that's similar to the first film where the last girl is watching a movie. I forget which one, but it looks like kind of a 50s movie. There it is, Jordan. But I like that. So they're like So they're watching the film. Rock and Roll High School, by the way, was a Roger Corman film, so they're just a cheap plug. The two boys who show up, the first I'm like, I kind of like this because they remind me a lot of the two boys in the first film who crashed the slumber party. They even have the same thing where they're looking through the window at the girls, like one of them's topless, I think, at the point, at the first part, and one of them says, "We're dead, and this is heaven," which is like the same line as in the first film. But these guys are annoying. Like, you have TJ, who is horrible. I can't stand this guy. He's like, he talks in this annoying voice. He does he goofs around with a blow-up doll. He pushes Crystal Bernard Courtney into the pool. It's just, he's an annoying jackass. Couldn't wait to see him die. And then his buddy Jeff, which I think is kind of cool. There was, I think, one of the boys' names in the other film was Jeff too. He's just feminine. He's got this like sweater. He was really expendable. The boys in the two boys in the first film that crashed the party are cool. I kind of like them. They seem kind of like expendable at first, but they actually have a little bit of depth to their character. They have a plan to go like split up and go outside and kind of protect the girls. So I kind of like them. But these two guys are just annoying. Don Daniel. So this is a Bog reference. All right, so Don Daniel co-produced this, and he also has a tiny role in this. He is a guy who's like lives next door, I think, at the mountain house, and just when there's a scuffle outside after the killer kills a couple people, he opens the door, looks out, doesn't see anything, and he says, "Damn kids." And that's it, and he goes inside. So he's credited as Mr. Damn Kids. And it's weird because he was in Bog 1979 as Jim Hotchkiss, the ammo gun store proprietor. And he looks older in that film, which was like 8 years before this one. He's got like mutton chops, glasses, a bad beard. But in this one, he's like clean shaven. I mean, in Bog, he looks like he could be like in his 60s. But in this film, he just looks like a regular, like, just kind of middle-aged suburban guy. So I don't know how that works, but it's definitely him. I even like went and rewound it, and I mean, IMDb can make mistakes sometimes, but that's definitely Don Daniel. He just looks younger in this film. It's pretty amazing. He's clean shaven, so maybe that's why he looks different. But even the voice is the same. So, kind of cool seeing a Bog. You don't see many Bog actors in films. I don't. I've seen Marshall Thompson in a few things way back in the 50s. And I saw Aldo Ray in a terrible 80s film. And that's about it. Never seen Gloria DeHaven in anything. She was in a lot of movies. Alright, so the mountain house. I didn't like the mountain house in the neighborhood. It was like bad lighting. The mountain house looked like it was some kind of like model for a suburban showing. It was just, I didn't like that. I didn't like the outside at night was all right. It had a good atmosphere. This is more of a summer feel movie to it. You got the pool outside, maybe early fall or something. But I like the more like kind of fall, like Halloween type movie of the first one. The driller killer is really bad. He looks like a kind of a better looking version of Andrew Dice Clay. He's got a guitar with a drill, with a little electric drill. That's what on the end of it. He's singing and doing little dance steps during the film, like during his killings and while he's like going after the girls. And it's just that it was really offensive. I don't get offended much, but as much as I love the Slumber Party Massacre 1982, I just felt like it was being disrespectful to the character a lot. I love Russ Thorne. The guy looks like S. Silver. Russ Thorne, the killer in the first one, is really good. I thought the actor who played the guy in part 2 could have played a good Russ Thorne-like character. He had the same voice, kind of. He even had some of the same eye movements and stuff. He even says his scream at the end when he dies is similar to to the Russ Thorne scream. He even does the "I love you" similar, so that's really good. Takes a lot of love to do this kind of thing. A great line from the first one. So that really annoyed me. They could have had, the ending could have been better. They could have had Courtney maybe throughout the film gain an attraction. Maybe her head is messed up. Maybe she gains an attraction towards the killer in the dreams or something, and then she ends up being like brainwashed, and because he's a good-looking guy, maybe she ends up with him or something. They go off or something. That would have been kind of cool, but I didn't like the cheeky feel of this film. I didn't like the humor. I hated the band, the girl band. I hated the killer. A lot of filler. I couldn't wait for it to end. It's only 75 minutes long, similar to the first one, and I couldn't wait for it to end. So skip this one unless you're a completist. I do not recommend this movie. It disappointed me. It disappointed me because I had my hopes set low, but when I first saw the first like 15 minutes, I was like, this might be decent. This might not be too bad. It might be a little bit similar to the first film, and I would have been fine just with a complete rehash of the first film. Do a complete, pretty much a rehash with a little bit of tweaks to it. But Slumber Party Massacre II, not good. I don't recommend it, and I really have zero interest in seeing Part 3, 1990. It doesn't follow Courtney. I think it just follows a whole new group of girls. But I'll probably eventually, who knows, maybe watch that one. But 1990 gets even worse. Thanks for watching this long review of Slumber Party Massacre 2. Finally got around to it, boys. Sleepaway Camp 2 has a big cult following. I'm sure this one has a cult following as well, but I'm not part of that following. Thanks for watching. See you for the next review.